the safest and most highly regulated industries in the world. Today, hundreds of millions of Americans fly per year, and each one of those lives is protected by regulations created and enforced by the Federal Aviation Administration. In the fledgling years of flight, it was a dangerous frontier, braved by only the most willing pioneers. If the field of aviation ever wanted to branch out to serve passengers, it would need involvement from a government agency with the capabilities of safety and standards. In 1926, the Air Commerce Act gave the responsibility of the federal regulation to the Secretary of Commerce. The Secretary of Commerce assumed responsibility over pilot and aircraft certification, establishing airways, creating and enforcing air traffic laws, and more. The aviation industry was growing, and multiple acts, such as the Civil Aeronautics Act of 1938, were established to accommodate the need for increased federal involvement. The FAA, as is known today, was created in 1958 with the Federal Aviation Act. The organization was known as the Federal Aviation Agency until the Department of Transportation was created in 1967 when it was renamed to the Federal Aviation Administration. The FAA has a long history that has shaped it into what it is today. Several key individuals that assisted in the shaping of FAA include the following: Commissioner Lindy Ritz, the former director of the Mike Maroney Aeronautical Center, and the current head of the Oklahoma Aerospace and Aeronautics Commission; Pat Poe, the former director of Europe, Africa, the Middle East, and later the Regional Administration for Alaska; and Dick Hall, who runs the FAA Flight Standard Operations.
And really earning money for that, helping to earn money for the different aviation companies and the airlines. They moved away from that, and safety was paramount. So they never wanted it to compromise, even when they're looking at the positions of seats on an airline. Airlines want more seats for more revenue. FAA backed away and said, wait a minute, we're not interested in that. We're interested in what's the safest ability to get out of the aircraft. So that's, to me, then FAA was always safety.
What would you say is the FAA's most important job in all of these different projects that you mentioned?
I think it's safety. If you're not making it safe, you're in the wrong business. I think, well, at that point, the FAA had security responsibility for the last point of departure airplane from anywhere in the world that was coming to the United States. After Pan Am 103, the Transportation Safety Administration was created, and FAA abandoned, or it was moved from the FAA portfolio. And so that's where aviation security went. I think aviation security was almost an impossible task to start with.
What the role of the FAA is, in your opinion?
Safety.
Yeah.
Safety.
Okay.
It's preached day and night, safety.
Yeah.
Is it safe? What you're doing, is it safe? Is this standard good enough to make that pilot a safe pilot?
Good.
I have for you is, as students trying to get into aviation, what's one word of advice you would give any student in general?
I remember the question I was asked when I was interviewing to become the director of the Aeronautical Center. And the deputy director at the time and director said, what is the most important skill? And I said, listening. And to begin with, they kind of looked at me and I said, because before you can react, you need to listen. And so I would say, as students, you're going to have so many opportunities to learn and be a sponge. That's the other thing I would say. As I mentioned, the puzzle pieces with FAA, I was fascinated by how many different pieces all connected. And from then on, that was very important to me as I developed people and I've coached people, is do you understand what the other parts of FAA do? And do you understand how they affect you? With you all, I would say, do you understand what the different parts of aviation do? And no matter where you end up, do you understand what they do?
Is there anything you want to say to us as students who will be involved with the aviation industry someday?
Well, I guess I would say this, that it's not a status quo. I mean, when you pick that field, you're going to be at the cutting edge of technology. You're going to be impacted by every international and local event that could be harmful to aviation or the airports or the runways. So it's a roller coaster, that it needs people who are willing to take the ride.
So my advice is to ask yourself to begin with, do you want a job or do you want a career? That's the first question you need to ask yourself. If you say, well, I'm going to take a job for a while, but I want to move into a career. Well, you get a job, cutting grass, washing aircraft, whatever you want to do. Or you want a career. You want to be able to take on new projects, new things. You know, reach out. You can do that. But I would encourage to look into it. If you want a career, air traffic, absolutely. That's a great career. They make 6 figures salary. Not bad. You know, you can trade your bologna sandwich for a steak once in a while, right? You do that. That's the kind of thing I think that is not visible. Better. We need each and every one of you to seriously consider a job with the FAA.
I like your hat.
Thank you.
She may not want to get along with me, you know, for some reason. I may not like her hat. I don't know.
It's a hat.
It's just a hat. There you go.
Go.
slow the whole thing.
I'm gonna.
Say the whole thing. Go now.
Deep breath, project your voice, and talk slow, clear.
I'm already recording.
Hashtag words.
Yeah, look at I can make fake lizards.
Reach out.
Just keep going.
No.